Anybody who does not know me, I'm Bob Bromley. I'm the curator down here at the Fort Tabor, Fort Rodman Military Museum and Veterans Memorial. I would like to welcome everybody here. This is our 20th anniversary celebration. It's hard to believe that 20 years have gone by, but we're still here, and we're still growing, and we're still having people coming through our doors every day with items. We'd like to start off today's services with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by City Council President Naomi Cobb.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know. You could be able to do the invocation?
We had Father Racine down to do our invocation, but he isn't called. He has two services today that he has to be at. So we're very lucky. We have Mr. Geronimo from the Marine Detachment, the Marine Corps Elite, to give us the invocation.
Good morning. We are here to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the museum. We hope God watches over everyone who helps with the museum, the volunteers and all those who donate. And look around, all those pictures of those who have passed in the wars. Let us say a prayer that the museum continues to succeed and people enjoy what we have and believe in what it stands for. We sing the Our Father. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Thank you. Thank you, Chaplain. I'd like to introduce Bill Nedgewitz, President of the association. Since we've reformed back in 1999, 25 years ago, Bill is the third president of the association during this time period. Bill came into the association as basically like how we get everybody else to volunteer. They walk through the doors one day. Hey, this is a pretty cool museum. I was, served in the military, Army, got sucked into become a member. Next thing you know, volunteer. Then he was on the board. Then he was became a vice president. And very fortunately, when we lost our previous president, Joe Langlois, to cancer, Bill was able to step forward and take over at the exact time the world got hit with the pandemic. And we were also fortunate that Bill's background in the military dealt with chemical warfare and biological warfare, so he was able to quickly do all the things necessary to keep the museum going. So we didn't have many dark days here. We were open, and we handled all the processes as required by the city and the state. So I'd like to bring up Bill Nedgewitz as our speaker.
I would like to thank everyone here for coming today. I mean, it is for us, it's a big thing. It's 20 years. Like, I've only been here about 5 years, and I actually have to depend on Bob a lot because he says, well, we can talk to this person. And I sit there going, Bob, I was gone out of the New Bedford area for 30 years. I says, I don't know that person. So luckily he's been around. I try to make sure that, I've been trying to make the museum continue. We're upgrading, we're doing new things, we're bringing new things in. It's becoming unbelievable. This museum is doing. Beginning of the year, when we came close to the membership meeting, I sat down and says, everybody on that side of the building, except for maybe a handful, are no longer here. So we're not really just a military museum. We're a veterans memorial. to remember these people. We first opened the door 20 years ago. Our mission was to preserve the memory and legacy of the local veterans. We're not like these big places that have all the tanks and the guns. It's about the veterans. Over the years, we have grown and evolved. We're changing continuously. We're slowly starting to replace all of our secondhand old cabinets with newer modern cabinets. And we're doing a little at a time because, again, we live on donations. We have all kinds of exhibits. We have documentation from the War of 1812 that we received about a year or so ago. That is actually on, we have some of the letters that were given to the whalers, signed at the old customs house, not the one we have now, the one before that, to protect them from being in turn impressed by the British that we're going to have conserved. We have a mural of New Bedford natives who went from Normandy Beach all the way to the end of the war, which we had preserved. So we're continuously trying to improve the museum. We do educational programs. We've had schools. We've had reunions. All of this coming in. None of it would be possible. We have people, you see them with their shirts on. And I'm glad they're proud to wear them today, because they're the ones who do it every single day. They come in, they open the museum, they tell the people what the museum's about. They help the people understand why we are here. If it wasn't for them, the doors would be closed. Yeah, I'm the president. And I always say, well, who gives a... I'm here and I try to keep things running, but it's them who are the wheels on the ground. And we need more, if we can get them, more wheels on the ground, because we're down to 5 days. We'd love to be open 7 days. But, as he said, I came in during COVID. Now, fortunately, we did not lose one of our volunteers to COVID. But because some of the elderly ones sat around and didn't do anything for those months, we lost them to inactivity, which was another danger of that. I tried to get the museum, as I said, opened up as early as possible. I lucked out when I was able to do that. The donors, people come in with things all the time, crazy things that you think, where did this come from? Just the other day, we got a daily journal of the New Bedford Civil Guard from 1881. It's got to, again, we got to conserve it because the book, it's a book bind, and it's just a regular journal, so it's kind of deteriorated, so we got to look for a book binder to seal it. If not, we'll bring it up to NEDCC again. But it's down to when they went to the range, who each one scored. You know, it's some of the stuff that walks in the door. Then you get crazy people like me who bring in a piece of the first atomic bomb. So we have stuff in here that people go, how did you get this? Somebody walked in the door with it. You know, some things we can't take anymore, like uniforms. We have an attic full of uniforms. We'd love to take more, but we can't. But we will take in stuff that we have pictures that I still haven't been able to identify the people. But I came in, and this guy was in a house that we cleaned out. I was on Channel 10 and everything else about it. Still haven't found out that person's identity. I wish we could. Our donors, our members who pay their dues every year, I'm sorry that they're very so expensive, but it's $10 a year, folks. So if you join the association and give us $10 a year, that even helps. Because they're some of our biggest donors are the association members. They give, and they help the museum. Yeah, do we end up with a lot at the end here? Not really. And we stick it away and hide it so that we can use it to add more things. The thing we do is we make enough to support ourselves, and maybe $2,000 or $3,000 is over at the end of the year. And then we can get this, we can get that. And that's what we try to do. The more we get, the more we'll buy. Because we want to keep this improving. The visitors. We have people coming in from all over the world. We've had people from Malta, Vietnam, China, all of the European countries, South Africa, I mean, it's unbelievable to come in here. And a lot of it is, I do a lot. I don't know if anybody looks at the Facebook page. I do a lot of things on Facebook, like putting on dates when certain battles happen, stuff like that, for the museum. And if you go on our Facebook page, and then they get to see on there, they say, oh, they have a virtual tour. We're one of the few museums who actually has a virtual tour where you can walk in with your computer and walk around the museum. We've been doing so much, it doesn't look the same anymore. But so it's things like that. And that was one of the things that actually came out of COVID, because our historian, Brian Rue, ran into this gentleman, and the guy did it to us for a fantastic cost. I mean, it's just great. And actually, everybody asked about the fort. Well, if they want to see the inside of the fort, we have it right on that virtual tour. It's got a fly-in and 2 360 cameras where you can look inside the fort. And that's what we tell the people. It's too dangerous to be walking in there, but at least you can see what's in there. Each of you who come in here, each of you see, oh, maybe I can bring my uncle's stuff in. Maybe I'll bring my dad's stuff in. It's a crucial role in helping us continue. There's going to be no end. Because yes, we are continuing sending our young men and women to foreign countries to risk their lives. And we need to respect that. Today we reflect on the journey that we've had. We started out with the model of the fort and about 12 pictures. And I think there's a couple more than 12 pictures in here, folks. I think we're up to 1,900 people donating. And I don't know how many exhibits we have, how many pieces we have in here. I mean, I get lost after 10, so I couldn't really count that many. But we have stuff from all the wars, and not only the wars, because our people go to places when there's no war, and they're still risking their lives. Look at the people at the Berlin disco. They were just having a night out, and they got blown up. So every service member runs a risk. We are committed to continuing this work. Whatever we have to do to continue on, we will do. We have people. How many of the volunteers? Oh, I picked this up. I'm donating to the museum. I'm one of those. But sometimes oh, well, this costs this much, but don't worry about it. The volunteers, the docents, put their life and soul into this museum. We do our own janitorial work. Shoot, most of the wives are going, wait a minute, they don't do that at home. We'd love to get more female veterans in here, because that's where we're short of. And then we have the young ones. Emma, Colin, Tyler, Josh. They're in high school, college, a little bit past college. This is what we need. We need young people to continue this museum on long after I'm pushing up daisies. And, it's just, I'm so happy how many people, and I hope I didn't miss any of the young people, that it's like who are coming in here and helping us. And shoot, I mean, I'm so old and so decrepit that I'm over like, I dropped something, and they're like, don't worry, we'll get it for you. I'd like to thank all the people. We've had Hudon Crane Service come in and built these things. Father Mike, who usually is here, today he couldn't make it. We have all these different groups who help us. We're starting to get back with the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts. Now, hopefully that's going to work out and help more. I don't know what to say. It's pride. And I'm happy to be here. So, to keep my thing a little, not as long as it should be, but I would like to thank everybody for coming. I do enjoy having these things, even though I'm dead tired for 3 days. But I thank you all. Have a great day.
What Bill had alluded to is when we first walked in here with the late Mayor Fred Kalix, and he said, guys, I want you to put a museum in this building. Now, this section here wasn't here, no, was the middle section, just the old section. Empty. And three of us stared at each other, and that was Joe Langlois, Don Moss, and myself, and we were like, with what? As Bill said, we had 12 photographs. We had 2 shelf units and just enough items for 1 display case that we were able to get from a jewelry store downtown that was changing and storing it out onto the street. So that's how we got a lot of our initial cases that we would fix up, paint up, and then place down here. Within 5 years, former Mayor Scott Lang said, we've got to figure a way how to expand. He figured it out, and we got the middle room and this bigger room put in. And he said to me, he said, well, it'll take you about probably what, another 5-6 years that you get this filled up? And I said to him, Scott, we'll have this filled up in 6 months. He said, you're kidding, right? I said, no, the stuff that we've got stored away, plus once people see there's more space, more things will be coming in here. How many things we have in here, we lost track as to the exact count, but it's close to 500,000 items that have now come in. Some people bring in one item, could be a photograph. Some people come in with boxes of items. Or we've had in the instance with the Air Force Academy, they got together all the New England cadets one year, and they filled up 4 boxes of items from the Air Force Academy and shipped them to us. So we have many items from there, as well as from the West Point Academy. But this does not continue on without the help that we had from the very beginning to this day and into the future from the city, that's particularly from our city councils. So I'd like to introduce the city councils who are here today helping us out. Our city council president, Naomi Khan. Councilor Lynn Moran. The Ward 6 Councilor Ryan Pereira. And the Ward 5 Councilor Joseph Lopes. Now, some of the special things is Linda Moran was here from day one and has always been down here. Her father was a World War II veteran, and it's been this, I think, has been very special to her because it keeps that memory going of family members who served. Councilor Lopes, a little bit different, and he was a little bit younger. He was our youngest volunteer here, and he was the gopher guy because being the youngest one, he'd be the one that could shag everything for us. And then later went on to our board before becoming a member of the city council and having to leave our board. So it's another little special point to him to have this facility still going and going after 20 years. So with that, I'd like to call up the city councils because they have a proclamation that they have put together for us for the 20th anniversary.
Good afternoon. Thank you. So I have an official resolution from the New Bedford City Council for the Fort Taber Fort Rodman Military Museum and Veterans Memorial 20th Anniversary. Whereas in 2004, the late Mayor, Dr. Frederick M. Kalis Jr., invited the Fort Taber Fort Rodman Historical Association, Incorporated, to establish a museum to showcase the history of the former Fort Rodman Military Reservation. And whereas the Fort Taber Fort Rodman Historical Association, Incorporated, opened the Fort Taber Fort Rodman Military Museum and Veterans Memorial to the public in August 2004 with 20 photographs, 2 shelf units, and 1 display. And
whereas the Fort Rodman Historical Association, Incorporated, discovered a need to also address the deep patriotic history of the area veterans and expanded the mission of the museum to highlight the dedicated service of the area veterans serving from the American Revolution through today's involvement in the global war on terrorism. And whereas for the Fort Taber Rodman Military Museum and the Veterans Memorial quickly became a destination for veterans and their families to donate or loan photos, portraits, uniforms, artifacts, and memorabilia to the museum to honor our veterans and ensure that they and their service is never forgotten. And whereas the museum has become the repository of several area veteran organizations to keep hold of their records, and
Whereas since the doors first opened, nearly 109,000 people have visited the museum or attended numerous special events to learn about the Greater New Bedford area's military history, and whereas the museum's visitors range from every state and from out the entire world. Now therefore be it resolved, the Bedford City Council will hereby honor and celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Fort Taber Fort Rodman Military Museum and Veterans Memorial on September 21st, 2024 at 12 noon at the museum, given by City Councilor Ward 6, Ryan Prever, the entire City Council.
I'd like to thank the City Council for this proclamation. Like I said, it is something that we do. And this just proves that people recognize it. Thank you again.
Now, on behalf of the mayor's office, we have the city council president reading the official resolution from the mayor.
The City of New Bedford official resolution, be it hereby known to all. The City of New Bedford, Massachusetts hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Fort Taber, Fort Rodman Military Museum in recognition of its 20 years of preserving our region's military history and honoring the achievements and sacrifices of our veterans. The entire citizenry extends its best wishes on the memorial occasion and expresses a hope for continuous good fortune given this day, the 21st of September, 2024, given by the Mayor of New Bedford, Mayor John Mitchell. Thank you.
Again, I would like to thank the mayor for that great proclamation. So between the mayor and the city council, they're going to probably hopefully donate like a couple of million. Darn. Okay.
We have a special occasion challenge coin that Bill is now handing out to the 4 city councils to helping us out today.
It's a special one, and we've only made it up for just for this occasion only. It's not our regular coin, but it's basically very similar, and it has the thing on the back, about 20 years.
I mentioned his name before, and I know he's tucked in the back there, but I do want to have him pop his head out and be recognized. Former Mayor Scott Lang, who has been another tremendous supporter of the museum. I'd like to add that when he had finally retired from being mayor, he quickly started doing some research on his own family and started finding what his father did during World War II, and was excited enough to bring the photographs down here that we have on display as well. So again, the museum reaches out to everybody across this community, and it touches you, whether it's your immediate family, yourself, or you could have a grandparent, great-grandparent, great-great-grandparent that you feel that they should be honored. A lot of the items we have in here, you'll see the burial flags. A lot of people have the burial flags. They don't know what to do with them once they receive them back. We decided many years ago that we would begin honoring those veterans as well by having their flags placed on display here. And throughout the museum, you will see those flags flying. Now, 6 of those flags that you see in the cases here were retrieved by people out of dumpsters, 1 out of a garbage can. Because when you have someone who dies, they have no family, or they have family that's just not interested, they just would take the stuff, throw it out, and that person would be forgotten. And we have 2 of them that did come in here, not only with the flag, their photos, their medals, their history. And we were fortunate enough that one had a sister who was, I believe, 97 at the time, that came in, saw her brother's items in the flag that we now have on display. And before she passed away, she made sure we had his photographs to go along with it. So when you go over to the World War II section, that's on display. And we have uniforms that have been pulled by neighbors out of the garbage cans, so that they said they knew the neighbor was extremely proud of their service in the military. And to see the stuff just thrown into a garbage can hurt them. So they said, here we are, the whole neighborhood garbage picking, finding the items, cleaning the items, and then bringing the items down here so they are not forgotten. That is, you can see how Bill gets emotional. I get emotional with that, because I lean to all my family members who have served, and some who have currently just served. And again, most of them are all gone. They were World War II vets or older. Even my brother who served in Vietnam is now gone. So when I can look right there, and there's this photo staring at me right now, coming back, or my cousin behind me in the Vietnam section here as well. Uncle over here in the Cold War section, another uncle in Korea, and of course my parents over in the World War II section. This place is like another child to me. So it's very special. With that, I believe we're ready for ribbon cutting.
Yeah, I forgot a couple of little things I wanted to say thank you to. If you see the beautiful banner here, if you see the new exercise tiger poster that's there, we've been re-updated. We have a brand new A-frame with a brand new sign for opening that we're going to be using. There's a young gentleman named Peter Perry who has been doing all this for us, and he's been doing a fantastic job. And I forgot to mention him earlier. We have Tyler, we have all these young people coming in. And if you know young people who want to do something, some of the young people need volunteer hours for schools and stuff like that. I'll gladly give them a letter for them coming in and doing school stuff. All of it's, how do we say it? It's all about the families. My dad's picture's over the ladies' room, which I always think is a joke, because my dad was a young Navy personnel from 17 to 21 who was in 5 invasions. But he was one of those gentlemen who had a lady in every port. So I thought it was quite appropriate. My uncle's picture's over in the thing, and there's some skinny kid over here in the Cold War. I don't know who he is, but he's not skinny anymore, let me tell you. The thing is, folks, I'm just happy of all the people who came out for this. I'm happy for all the assistance that we've got from the city council, from the mayor, from Mayor Lang. That's what makes this place go. That's what makes it go. Without that, we got nothing. And the memory will fade. Because, like I said, that side of the building, you can probably count on one hand how many are left. There you go.
About 20 years ago, we actually had the ribbon cutting. If you're standing right by the front doors there, that's where the stairs were to the original front porch, and that's where we had the original ribbon cutting. We were going to do that just outside today, but again, the weather did not cooperate, so this is the next best thing. That pretty much concludes our celebration for the service part of it. Feel free to look at the museum. We have coffee, we have soda, we have water, we have pastries. We've got a lot of food over there that a lot of us don't need to eat the extras of. Please enjoy yourself, and again, we want to thank you all for participating with us today in not only just honoring the museum and the association, but more importantly, honoring those who are inside the museum who are no longer with us today. And I've got to give a shout out to all our volunteers and board members who have passed on. The plaque in the front hall, and when we first put the first name up there, it was kind of sad. Now I look at it and, it's almost we need another plaque because we've lost so many over 20 years. And so, again, in their memory as well, thank you.